And we're live on the Metal Lab, going in silent. Not quite as loud as last week, I guess. It's a duo attack today. It's just myself and Mike on the show. Mike, say hello to everybody.
What up?
And as always, we're brought to you in part by HCRealms.com, your stop for all things Heroclix. Check out the unit section for an awesome resource to help you with team building, or just to look up a figure in case you're wondering about solving an argument, if you will. As well, check out the forums for all the ongoing conversations. Section we will be looking up and using later on today as we talk about our updates from GAMA. And while you're there, click the shop button, support HC Realms, buy a little bit of stuff. There's all kinds of cool Heroclix swag that you can get, including things like hats, action tokens, dice cups, and some of the ROC maps, though not in the cool, awesome rubbery mat form. You can get them in paper form, and they are, of course, going to be ROC legal for their events, as the ROC is in conjunction with HC Realms. And while you're checking out from some of that cool shop stuff, put in the coupon code Mary, get yourself 10% off of your purchase, and that goes to support the channel as well. Also, we're brought to you in part by MajesticCCG.com. Check out the Apex Insiders premium site. $3 a month gets you articles from some of the top players and some of the personalities in Heroclix, including myself. Right now, I'm working on an article kind of talking about recovering from the rough tournaments, as last weekend coming off of last weekend, we discussed my very terrible showing at the WKO. So I'm hoping to make up for that this weekend. So again, that's MajesticCCG.com. We're going to be using them later on to discuss a recent ROC event format, because that's actually some of the free content you can get on the site. It's not all blocked by the paywall. But with that said, Mike, how has your week been?
My week has been pretty good overall. Lots and lots of work. This was crazy work week, so I ended up doing a couple 18-hour days. But overall, in the land of Heroclix, I don't know. I guess it was pretty good. We had a casual tournament last week at Wizards Cash on Wednesday, and I went 2-1, which is when you're not trying too hard. It's generally how it goes for me anyway. But overall, things are good, man. How about you?
It was a pretty soft week for Heroclix. We did a little bit of filming, myself and Amber. We do have some more patron games to put up, and we're kind of excited to get those up. And it's been because we're still kind of in that recovery mode from the WKO, and we've been really busy as far as not being able to get a sitter. And Amber working. I haven't been able to play too much Heroclix. Got some Dice Masters in, but that's not the channel we're on right now. So I always have to curb myself because I want to get into the conversation, but I can't because this is not the channel for that.
I know, because we both play too.
I know.
I'm actually having a really hard time focusing on work because we are going to Ottawa this weekend, and that is super, super exciting to get out there and visit some friends, but also participate in the WKO. Both sides of it this time for me. I'm going to be doing the Heroclix side on Saturday and the Dice Master side on Sunday. First time for the Dice Master side for me. That's going to be really, really fun. Hopefully, I don't pull absolute crap like I did at the last one, and I'll do better than 3-2. That's my goal.
Well, my goal is to do better than 1-4. So my goal is not exactly too high, or my bar is not set too high. Dice Masters, I hope to do well. I mean, I placed 5th, but it was out of 10 as far as Dice Masters regionals
Middle of the road.
Ontario. So it was middle of the road. Let's bring it. I'm hoping to bring it a little higher going into the next event.
Me too.
And for those of you interested, I'm just going to share a little bit of information as far as the Ottawa WKO is concerned. This weekend being the 26th and 27th, the 12th and 13th with his Attack Wing, so that's why you see that date there. Carta Magica at 1179 Saint Laurent Boulevard in Ottawa, Ontario. Phone number and details are all here. Pre-registration is done through their website, so you want to get out there fairly soon, as these things start to fill up towards the end. They're of course running the Heroclix and Dice Masters this coming weekend. Heroclix registration starts at 10 a.m. on Saturday, and then the tournament starts at 11 a.m. Side events will start at 1 p.m. after everybody's been beaten down and can't handle any more of the beatdowns. They can go and do that. The Dice Masters will start the next day, same time, same kind of scheduling, and same idea for side events. And there's details on food and hotel. There's one hotel, the Welcome Inn, which is, and I believe it's actually now one of the hotels has been bought up by Holiday Inn. These two hotels are actually basically share a parking lot with the building.
Yeah, so, they're right next door.
So they're very convenient. We got lucky, and a good friend of ours from Ottawa needs cat sitting done. So we got lucky with accommodation. Just had to pay for travel.
Thank you so much for that, Patrick. It's we promise not to kill your cats.
Well, I promise nothing. Mike. That's why I brought Mike along, though.
I like kitties.
The cats now have protection from Jay.
Just remember, we can't leave our bags open on the floor because apparently they think of them as soft litter boxes.
Oh boy,
that's what he was saying. That's hilarious.
No open bags. Gotcha. All right. On that note, since we're talking about Animalia, let's talk about the Ninja Turtles, shall we? We got 3 previews since last week, one of which came on Tuesday. Hey, WizKids, our show's on Monday. You got it right this week. Last week, unacceptable.
Yeah, they really should be on our schedule.
Exactly. Get on our schedule, man. Our live show's on Monday. But without further ado, let's do this in order, and let's get rid of my face and talk about Casey Jones. So Casey Jones has a trait. Excuse me. I just kind of went teenager mode on there. He's got a unique modifier. When Casey Jones is adjacent to a friendly character named Raphael, they both modify their attack values by +1. He's also got a special attack power. Give Casey Jones a close combat action and make a close attack. If he hits, after action resolve, move him up to 2 squares, automatically breaking away, and then make another close attack with his attack and damage values modified by +1. He comes in at 30 points with the Brute and the TMNT ally team ability. He's got Battle Fury in his first 3 clicks. He ends with some Flurry and some combat reflexes. Mike, what do you think of Casey Jones?
Like 30 points of amazing. Maybe like one of the absolute best 30-point figures we've seen come out in a long time. Even if you're not using his RAF trait, his unique modifier rather, it's just really, really amazing. I like the change in terminology. Even I can see how they're going to be having that go forward from here on out, giving Casey Jones a close action and making a close attack. Those 2 terms said in that way, I think they're starting to establish some kind of an actual trend going forward. And we may actually see that more clearly defined in a new rule book when it eventually comes. The fact that he automatically breaks away, allowing him to go around the character that he's attacking and making room for another attacker or whatever, just giving that mobility, semi-similar to the comic book version of the Ninja Turtles that we've seen so far as well. Their special trait. Just really, really good overall. I mean, having charge with 10 attack at 30 points right off the top is awesome. Plus willpower, so he can attack 2 turns in a row without any repercussions, avoiding shape change with Battle Fury. And the only downside is that he's soft as all hell. You only have to hit a 17 to nuke him. He is a 1 or 2 hit to destroy him. But overall, I mean, if you're hitting him once and he's getting down to his flurry clicks, you got 2 chances at making a counterattack, which is pretty good overall. And yet another Brute, your absolutely least favorite keyword.
It's the keyword I really want to be my favorite, because all my favorite characters are Brutes. They all just kind of bash the walls and bash on skulls. Actually, I was talking with a patron on our patron hangout about that, and I was like, I really want that to be a better keyword. And then he made a team for me. So I think he's making fun of me because I missed a particular character with that keyword, and I'm seeing it get a little bit. Anyway, but yeah, like you said, this guy only came in at 30 points, and he's got 5 full clicks, because a lot of characters at this point value don't have that kind of depth of dial. But 5 clicks for 30 points, that's about as big as the Turtles are at 50.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. So he's soft, yes, and he takes all the damage, yes. But if you devote 5 damage to a 30-point character, you're angry you had to do that. And then if you devote 3 damage to a 30-point character, you're angry that you've got to devote more damage to that character in most cases. So, like, overall, this is a guy you want on your team, and you want your opponent to A, ignore him, or B, go right after him so that he doesn't become a problem. So it's kind of that double-edged sword of awesome. So yeah, we also last week got trusted with Metalhead. Now Metalhead sits at the 100-point value, a little higher than everything else we've seen in this set so far. He's got a trait. I built him, and I have the remote. At the beginning of your turn, you may remove an action token from Metalhead and give an action token to an adjacent friendly character named Donatello. Outside of that, he's got stats. What you see is what you get on dial. He is indomitable. He does fly. He does have 6 range with 2 targets. late dial energy explosion, though he does have Earthbound on those last 3 clicks, which means he's not indomitable and does not fly on those clicks. So what's your takeaway on Metalhead right now?
I mean, I know that when we saw this, your immediate reaction was, "Oh my God, he's just won the whole set because of his range, right? Because he does outrange most of the rest of the set that we've seen so far, with the 6 range plus sidestep. Plus he's indomitable and he has impervious, so he's actually quite resilient. And the precision strike, of course, is very nice, as everybody knows at this point. I think that, obviously I want to get him to a second click so that I can have slightly better damage value along with the running shot, so I can actually have some mobility there. But I think he's built to carry around Donatello on his back and make attacks every single turn. At 100 points, I think he's good. He's one of those pieces that I need to have in my clutches and play around with for a little while to really get a better feeling for it. And you know what? I'm going to be in luck very, very soon. I think it's April 13th when it comes out, the set itself. So, and we're going to be having a sealed tournament that night. So I'll give that a try. Hopefully I'll pull him. Because I think given the set, he versus the set itself, good. So in sealed environment, good. But in constructed environment, I'm not so sure.
Oh, and I agree with that for sure. Within the set of TMNT, this guy is going to walk over a lot of what we've seen already. Mostly because of his range, his indomitable, his energy explosions, multiple targets, and his damage at that range. But, when you take him outside of the set, he doesn't shine as much as the versatility of some of the other turtles and what they do, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And, you're devoting 100 points into this character. And at 100 points, there's better options in the rest of the world of Heroclix as opposed to this particular character. That's not to take away from the fact that he is pretty good, especially if you have a Donatello handy. But that does put him at the 150 point. Like, that puts your, commitment at 150 points rather than just 100. But, robots are good, I hear.
Robots are the good.
Yeah, and speaking of robots, we got another one today. Even now, I said this wrong. I'm going to say it again wrong. The Fugitoid. I got it right. Okay.
You did get it right. Yeah.
So he's traded with shape change, but it's a shape change on a 4, 5, or 6.
I'm a big fan of
that. Yeah. He's got a special defense power. He's impervious to heat and energy. Fugitoid can use toughness. When he's targeted by a range attack, he can use impervious instead, which eventually turns into toughness on his last 2 clicks. He's got stealth on the last 2 clicks. He starts with phasing, doesn't fly. He's 75 points. He's a neutrino, robot, scientist, and TMNT ally keywords. So what do you think of the Fugitoid, Mike?
Expensive tie-up. I mean, obviously with the 12th phasing, he's supposed to get right in there and base somebody. And on his way, he can defend himself actually fairly well. So even if they're even if it's the full length of the map itself and you don't have any TK, he's going to get there in 2 turns with impervious or indomitable rather, so that he actually does it without pushing again. And he's got the, let's see here, impervious to help him along the way. That's the whole point. You go 12 squares, you get attacked. It's okay. You have the ability to get around it with both shape change and impervious. So it's 2d6 rolls, one being a 4 to 6, and the other just being the 5 and 6, but with the reducer on top of it. So overall, he's pretty tough. But I think of him as he's obviously made to be tie-up. So if you're spending 75 points on that tie-up, you may be able to spend it 50 points on a turtle and do a little more damage. That's just kind of my take on it. But having a tie-up roll or an actual carrot, to try and keep people from targeting the main source of your attack damage is also very, very valuable in any given situation. So overall, I do like him. I think he's good in sealed. I would not play him outside of sealed.
I kind of see this guy as a mobile body blocker. He's kind of a 1 square barrier that you put in front of people. But it's also a 1 square barrier that you'll either really love paying for or regret immediately. And that's really the 2-way street you get out of the Fugitoid. He either works really well, and that's when your dice are really rolling on the high side, or he doesn't work at all, and your opponent slowly takes 2 or 3 shots to get through him. He doesn't stop Psychic Blast, which exists out there. He most certainly isn't getting around any Pulse Waves, which in the major game does exist quite a bit, or is very well relied upon. So As far as, outside of Turtles, but inside of Turtles, I mean, when you have the Metalhead out there, he's going to get in the way of your guys for Metalhead to have to target first. So that investment could go further than expected. He's also indomitable, so you can kind of get some movement. If you know what, I definitely would give him a lot higher points if his Perplex was more front-loaded.
Well, and in this set, I mean, if we think about it too, that most of the characters only have 2 damage. So you're going to end up being able to soak most of that at range, and then if you do end up taking 1 damage, pushing him to a second click, and he's beside Baxter Stockman, the comic version, for instance, he's getting healed up by 1 anyway. So yeah, I think he's pretty good in the sealed environment.
Yeah. So yeah, overall, there's an okay set of characters showing up here. We are seeing our figures that, a lot of the characters we look at will say, oh my goodness, there's a lot of application of this character outside of certain things, and then there there won't be an application to another character inside of the grander game, and that's going to happen with some characters. Like Casey Jones, he's more universally useful than, say, the Fugitoid or Metalhead are, because one, of the fraction of the team that they take up, and 2, the utility of the character, right? The Fugitoid is 75 points of what you want Casey Jones to do, but can possibly do it better if the dice, those little cubes roll your way. The cubes don't roll my way very often, so I get a little afraid of that kind of investment. Damn
chance cubes.
Blasted probability cubes. So a lot of news came out this week as far as looking forward to the future of Heroclix in the form of the GAMA trade show. If you were watching Facebook, stuff, photos, etc., were getting popped up all over the place. News was being put out there. And HC Realms user Risto put up a wonderful recap of all the things that occurred there. I'm going to try to truncate it because there's a lot of information there. We're going to focus mainly on a lot of the stuff from Civil War, because that's the next big thing is, that
absolutely
is Civil War, because that event starts in June, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's June through September. Yeah.
So the next release we have is we have the bear with me here. Ninja Turtles in April, and then is Uncanny X-Men in May?
I think so.
Right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, and then immediately after that, we have this awesome Civil War event. So I'm going to go through this now. I don't want to show you the wall of text that I have to go through and parse information from, because it's a lot, and nobody wants to see that right now. But I'm just going to show the post very briefly right here. So this is the poster we're getting all our information from. So I want to thank user Aristo for getting all of this information out there.
Thank you very much.
We do appreciate anybody who does do this. And, there's photos included, all kinds of awesome going on here. And we're really excited for a lot of the news that's coming out of there. And including, it's good to see that WizKids did their state of the game and so on. So here we go. I'm gonna quickly go over the key points here, and one of which, let's just immediately start with Civil War. Civil War is our next OP event. It's going to be a little different than what we're more familiar with. Each pack is going to have a little bit more of a static build to it, in the sense that they're still a 5-figure pack, but there's going to be 2 figures with blue bases, 2 figures with red bases, and 1 figure with a black base. The red bases are going to be anti-registration. The blue bases are going to be pro-registration, and the neutral figures will have your regular black bases. And each break is going to come with support packs. That is the prizing and the maps, etc., for each table or each brick's worth of players. The format's going to be Battle Royale. So I believe it's meant to be Battle Royale for the first 3 months. And the suggested time limit is an hour. So this is where things get a little weird. We'll talk about it a little later. I want to kind of wrap it up with that, but let's just go with that. The maps will have special dividing lines because these are going to be team battle royales, apparently. And there's also some divisions for 1v1 games because the maps need to be useful for both these battle royales and this team and the regular play, apparently. Now, drafting is done in its own unique way. They suggest a randomization, or in your store you can decide on who. But at each table, you're going to be sitting across from somebody who is the opposing faction from you. So let's say you're anti-registration. The person across from you is going to be pro-registration. Now, the reason that is important is there is a quick draft to this. And that draft is, I give you, Mr. Pro-Registration, your pro-registration figures from my pack, and you give me the anti-registration figures from your pack, and then I keep the neutral and faction figures from my pack. So I will have 4 of my faction figures and the 5th neutral figure to work with for my portion of the Battle Royale. And then the prizing at each Battle Royale table is done much like the Battle Royale format for conventions, the snake draft, where it goes in order of placement. It goes 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th draft, then 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st, then 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. So 1 and 4 will get double draft at points, which is kind of the bonus to that.
Yeah, it's the head to tail of the snake and then back. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a cute little diagram I'm going to show very quickly here,
Yeah,
where he diagrams it. Shows why it's referred to as the snake draft, and it's a little snake.
It's a snake. I like it.
So then we get into the month 4. Excuse me. I'm fighting something in my throat, folks, and I'm really trying not to do that. So, of course, for the first 3, everything's going to be tracked, and faction, etc., is going to be going on. Month 4, the final month. So for the first 3 months, points and faction balance will be kept track of. I'm not certain if the faction wins as a whole because you're randomly playing. If it's meant to track, blah, blah, blah. If you're to order because of this, the final month is not Battle Royale. The final month is to be run as a standard 1v1 format. And then the OP kit contains 16 figures to be used as a prize. 2 of the figures are Captain America and Iron Man figures from the foil prize packs, offered together as one choice for a prize. So like the Captain America and the clashing Captain America.
Yeah,
Iron
the
Man,
weird duo thing.
Yeah, are your grand prize. The other 14 figures consist of 2 copies of 7 different figures that are only available in this final prize kit. And then
why don't you show them the picture of that duo just so they have an idea?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually trying to find that picture right now.
I've got it right here.
I just found it as you said that.
Okay, all right, go for it.
But here it is. So actually, there's a little taste there. You got the Captain America and the Iron Man, and when you get them closer together, it looks like Iron Man smashing Captain America's shield.
Go down one picture and they're together. Yeah.
Boom, right there. Very nice looking. And then you also have, in there, kind of a tease. You got Sentry and the Night Nurse out of the prizing as well. Night Nurse making her return. We also have a Cloak and Dagger duo, something we haven't seen since Secret Invasion. And go back and look at that Secret Invasion figure. And when you're done with your disappointment, come back and pray that this is much better than that.
Isn't that Wiccan in the background too?
There is a Wiccan in there somewhere. I believe we saw it. Yeah. Let's see if somebody's standing out of the way of that. I know there is a Wiccan in one of the prize. Here we go. Wiccan's in the set. So we got Wiccan, another Vision, very cool looking coming out of the ground. Taskmaster's coming back. We have that's not, I call her Songbird. And the Goliath, who seems to be absent a hole in his chest. Too soon?
Too soon.
Hey, look, I think that's the sucker who's responsible, because if this is keeping to the theme of Civil War, the Ragnarok was the one who did him in.
You think that's Ragnarok?
It could be. I mean,
it could be.
Thor didn't show back up until after Civil War and got really pissed at Tony Stark for what they did. So, all in all, Civil War looks like it's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. It's going to be one of those events that you don't really want to take too seriously. There's going to be the element of, tracking things and seeing how it goes. But the format itself, just out of the gate, seems to be, hey, guys, let's have some fun for one of these for once. There's going to be bounty cards where you get extra points for killing specific targets, which is cool. But that, of course, I'm sure the distribution will say, hey, this guy's going to be pulled here today. Let's go hunt him down. What do you think of the whole thing right now, Mike? Because I've done a lot of talking.
I'm really excited. It's very interesting. I can see some issues. I'm not entirely clear on how the faction choice works, whether it's our choice or which it should be, because I would be pro-registration and you would be anti-registration, and because I believe in gun control. But that's okay. I'm just messing around, Americans. No comment.
I just thought Iron Man was being a jerk about the whole thing. That's all.
Well, Iron Man is just a jerk. You can just put that statement over here and then talk about what he's actually talking about because he's just a jerk. But
Mike,
yes,
can you hear me? Because I can't hear you.
I can hear you. Yes, and I can see that my mic is working online. I think you ran out of battery or something.
Uh-oh. I'm wondering if that's coming from my side or not.
You can see my
there
little.
We go.
Yeah, my green thing was going the whole time, so that means that it's receiving my information. So as we were saying, very exciting. There's a couple issues that come to mind right away, and that is if people, because with these 4-month things, the attendance can be a little bit inconsistent, especially when people are like, "Oh, I'm not going to necessarily win the grand prize." In this case, that's kind of taken care of because it's a snake draft at the end for the grand prize itself. So, whoever wins with points overall at the end of it gets to choose that duo, the two guys together pretty much. That seems like it's the main grand prize. But everybody's going to be able to get something out of it. So maybe that'll take care of some of the drop-off that happens. But my concern would be lopsided numbers. So more pro show up than anti or vice versa to that night, and kind of screws over the polls in some way. I don't know whether they're going to address any of those concerns before it actually happens or not, or what their plan is. Because, I mean, I think it's a little bit naive to think that everyone's going to show up always, because it's just not real. We'll end up with max numbers every time because it is an OP kit set, and the only way to get the set is through playing in the events themselves. But there's no way to make sure everybody's going to be there every single time. I've said that like 4 times in different ways. But overall, really cool. Going to be a very exciting set in itself. I love the idea of having a Battle Royal OP series. We do play a lot of Battle Royals at Wizards Cache. In fact, instead of having a buy, if we have odd numbers at the Wizards Cache, the bottom 3 people who get paired, so you get on the WES, it lists the matchups together, and then the last one is 2 characters, and then there would be the buy down here. Just combine those 3 guys into a single battle royal, a 3-way battle royal, so that they're able to continue to play. Because my big thing is, I think everybody should be able to play, including myself half the time. In fact, as a judge, I do play most of the time, 99% of the time, in fact, because we play in a very casual environment that allows for that. But overall, I think that it's going to be a really fun set. I'm hoping that the pieces do end up being meta or competitive in some way, or at least we get a smattering of things that will end up in the competitive meta scene. What about you, Jason? What do you think?
Well, as far as the competitive play angle, I'm either hit or miss with that. I don't care if they're not, because I'm going to get them anyway. I like a lot of the themes of this. Because, that's just been me lately. But at the same time, it would be nice to see these guys on the table when I'm giving it that little bit of extra effort. Though it would be nice to have them kind of work within their own game and maybe play differently in the set, and maybe be different or better in certain ways outside of the set. Of course, we know with all the set being a ton of Avengers guys, that there's a ton of ID card work that we can pull off with them.
Yeah.
Which is always exciting news. Ultimately, I'm just looking forward to a fun event. I'm looking forward to a new attempt, a new way of managing it. Mm-hmm. And I'm hoping the forethought has gone into managing the rarity level on the pro and anti-registration figures. My mic or my headphones were kicking in and out while you're there, which is why I've gone to my speakers.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you mentioned this. I'm not sure, but it sounds like they might have covered it by having them just be the commons and uncommons in the set, and having the rare and super rares be the neutrals. I'm hoping that's the direction they went.
I hope that that's the way that they went too, but I'm not entirely sure. I know that they were talking about having established point values. Mm-hmm. So basically, 50, 75, or 100 point values, depending on what kind of figure you're playing. But it'll all fit together really well, so you're pretty much able. I think that the direction that they were trying to take was that you're able to play all 4 of your red or blue figures along with your black figure. So you'd end up with 4 50-point figures with a 100-point figure.
Yeah,
I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, and that's that's kind of what we want. Is we want another thing about these big events is this is their chance to bring in the new players, right? And if they keep some kind of uniformity to it, that is a good way to bring in new players, even though a bunch of established players are sitting there playing in this, because that's the actual equal ground level of the possible sealed/draft as they're doing here. It's an actual mixed bag of equality, if you will. That this makes more sense as an equal playing ground is, I guess, what I'm trying to get at. So with that and our excitement being kind of there, let's talk briefly about what was mentioned in the state of the game. So the new cards are on their way. They showed another example this time around with Scarlet, or with the Superior Spider-Man figure. I'm over it. They've made it abundantly clear that they're sticking to that don't look at the back of the card thing.
The fact that they conceded that much was awesome.
Yeah.
That we had an impact.
Yeah. I mean, voices were heard. And I know I was particularly loud immediately. Also found out that starting next year, me and Amber have been playing this game for 15 years.
Yeah, it's got that big 15th anniversary thing in the corner there.
Yeah. Wow. Holy smokes. We haven't been committed to each other for that long.
Makes me feel very young in the game still.
Yeah. You know what? That's the thing, is you're never really going to catch up with that kind of year.
Well, no, but I'm definitely not new anymore. That's the difference.
Yeah.
It's very, very cool.
Don't forget that you've got a lot more to show in your 2-3 years than I've got in my 15 years. Oh God, this is going to be hard to say for a while.
2 years and 1 month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, it's still exponentially, your rate of return is significantly higher than mine.
That means nothing, man. Really, like you've been playing for so long, your wisdom is totally invaluable and helps me in my game immensely.
Yeah, my drunk uncle tells me something that seems like a good idea every so
How
often.
about this? I'll just win for you.
I dedicate this one to Jason Collins.
This one's for Jason. Here you go. Oh, who knows if I'll ever win again, though. That's the reality. I mean, last year was a very fruitful year for me, but and this year's it's not so bad. But in all reality and in all seriousness, I just love this game, and I'm still really enjoying playing.
Yeah, that's a good thing to keep. With all that, WizKids did mention that they're currently the 5th most popular collectible game. Now, that's a good number to be in when it comes to the number of collectible games that exist nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Though I did get a bit of a reality check. I still kind of follow Magic the Gathering every so often. I know I use it as a template for comparison in a lot of cases.
Me too.
I have to bring it up again because recently on Twitch, I caught the Detroit Grand Prix. Did you hear the attendance numbers of that tournament?
No, I had no idea.
There were 2,535 players playing in this tournament.
That's insane.
Even better, you know where it ranked in the number in the attendance of Grand Prix? 13th.
Wow.
There's a lot of room for growth in this game.
No kidding.
I
can see the game is growing overall. Like I have noticed in the past little while, there are more people coming out in general, and there is some cumulative interest absolutely for this game. So that's number 5. So number 1 obviously is Magic, but what are the other 3 in between? I know Dice Masters was mentioned, but it's not as popular as Heroclix yet. You'd
be surprised because recently I think it was Age of Ultron outsold in numbers the recent Magic the Gathering that had come out.
Really? The Dice Masters did?
Yeah. As in, like, products flying off of the shelf. Now, that could be a number of factors, one of which being that you have to buy significantly more packs of Dice Masters to get what you want than, some other games. It's a worthwhile note, and I think Dice Masters may be either close to or ahead of Heroclix. I know Yu-Gi-Oh! Is up there somewhere because that game will never die, and I think Pokemon is still in that top 5 sitting somewhere. So games that you still hear about, big level, national level tournaments. But I think to myself when I see that, like at 56 players at Whitby, we were really excited and we were really crowded and we thought that was a lot of people. And it was. but we can get better, and there's more out there that can be got. So let's aim. Let's see if we can get those numbers up.
Aim for the sky. We really gotta work on that the Canada Cup and provincial states.
Yeah, which
really soon.
Which I believe a lot of our focus is going to be going into once we're done in Ottawa.
Absolutely,
we're going to be talking about it a lot, and then we have nationals in the middle of that, and then it's. Tournament season has hit us like a brick.
Absolutely. One little announcement, too, for anyone who's listening in other provinces in Canada. If you know of major venues in your province that would be willing to hold a Winamap to contribute to the Canada Cup here in Toronto, please let us know. Send us word via Facebook message. Or leave a comment. We can't leave comments in the YouTube channel anymore, can we? Because of the red thing.
You can leave comments, just not while we're live.
Not while we're live. Okay. Well, if you're watching this afterwards, yes, please leave a comment on the YouTube channel as well.
So or send it to our Facebook where you found this link.
That's where you do it.
Yeah. Or message directly to Married with Clicks Facebook if you know of a store. We'll put you in the right direction of where you need to talk to. We're not going to be the ones that give you all the details. We will point you in the direction of the people who you need to talk to.
Absolutely.
Or at least point your store, because make sure you got to make sure that you and the store are kind of setting up that line of communication, because the store is, the provider of the space and the, financial end, and you may be acting as an organizer, or you may just be facilitating the communication lines. Just make sure the store is aware and involved deeply. So with that being the talk of the still the state of the game. WizKids has addressed the fact that the limit of 50 cases per venue is not specific to online retailers, but rather to all retailers. So companies like Troll and Toad, like Cool Stuff Inc., they've taken a bit of a hit from this because they do order in large numbers because they go to a wider audience. But they are trying to get butts and seats for tournaments for this. This is a double-edged sword, I think, because we want butts and seats for tournaments, but we want figures on laps for players to show up in tournaments. It plays both ways. So, just as a store or a venue, be aware of that. Something to be talked about. They mentioned briefly that the Heroclix and Mass Markets is part of their licensing agreements with the companies they work for, because they exist in the mass market, have to exist in the mass market. So that's why we do see the mass market exclusives, and that's just a thing we have to deal with. They did mention if you are there is going to be a full Spanish rule book showing up in an Uncanny X-Men starter set. So if you're in one of the Spain or Mexico, we'll be getting those as far as getting a starter. But now here's one that kind of irks me, but I guess it's just something they're either still working on or still in the midst of cleaning up all the language on. 2016 is not the year of the new rulebook yet.
Nope. That's what they said. Nope.
It looks like here's hoping for 2017 being the year of the new rulebook, because they're starting to clean. Like, it's going to be a live kind of beta alpha testing period. It seems like, where they're starting to change some of the wording, and then they're going to address it on the WES. Judges are going to have to be on their toes, and it's going to. This is going to be a hard part for new judges or inexperienced judges. If you are an aspiring judge, make friends with the WizKids event system rules forum. You really gotta. I can't stress that enough. And if while you're running events and you're still kind of fresh to it, have an internet-enabled device handy in order to get some of those questions answered. Because sometimes there's some wordings that have been changed in newer stuff versus some of the older stuff, and because of this state of flux the game is still in the middle of. This has been the longest state of flux. I thought this would be over by now, but it's still kind of going on. This is kind of that stage where you got to be aware that you're not going to be able to answer a lot of questions like that. Found out today even. For all my rules knowledge that me and Amber have, I found out today that relics and special objects can be assigned, or you can pick them up with vehicles. It's resources and resources attachments they're not allowed anymore.
Really? I didn't know that until this very moment.
And for me, it was like 25 minutes or half an hour. Well, before the show, so because the show's been going on for about 45 minutes now.
Mm-hmm. What about print and play? When's that actually going to be coming into play? Yeah, is it gone now though?
Well, they're just. I mean, what was the last set we got?
The last set that came out was World's Finest.
No, we didn't get that in print and play though.
Oh no, we didn't get that in print and play. You're right. You're right.
I think. What was the one before Nick Fury?
Let me just look it up real quick.
Because that's about as far as it goes now. There is no more print and play because of a number of licensing issues, which is sad. But
aren't they supposed to be discontinuing everything that they have up there now as well, or is it just anything going forward?
Right now, the word is there's going to be no future print and play, because I'm sure the licensing extends to newer stuff.
Right.
And it could be just this could be that nickel and diming on the license, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I can't 100% say that's the case, but I mean that's just the way the cookie crumbles. There's not going to be any more print and play rules, though. As a judge in a store, be at your own discretion. Just remember, when it comes to the big events, they're going to be a little less lenient about it. So, though there is no mention in this case of the product replacement. So with any luck, we get that back or some version of it, because mistakes are still kind of occurring every so often.
And it's expensive. Like this is becoming a more expensive game to play in general. And so if, one of your figures is shattered in it and it was a super rare or above, yeah, they should replace it. Absolutely. That's just quality control.
Yeah. And please, delivery truck drivers, be a little bit more careful. I had 2 packs of crushed figures in a battle royale at the WKO, and the organizers were wonderful enough to give us 2 new packs at our table, but it was good for a laugh when I asked her how the driver was who drove that box, because it looked like those boxes had been in a car accident. So overall, a lot of good things. Here's another point. The WES is taking a bit of a shift in environments. I'm, of course, using the technical term. Starting in June. Sorry, that's backdating stuff. I just looked at the first date. In the future, you, instead of going to WizKidsEventSystem.com, you're going to be going to win.wizkids.com. I'm pretty sure eventually the WizKidsEventSystem.com will redirect to win.wizkids.com. But win.wizkids.com is up now, and it still has the same WES information, with the exception of friends, I think you said, Mike?
Yeah, it just doesn't have any of my friends migrated over or followers. But just for people's information as well, WIN stands for the WizKids Information Network. Yeah, so they've just rebranded essentially. But yeah, no, I have no friends.
I have no friends.
I got no friends.
But some of what they mentioned about this, there's going to be things like API and native apps coming. So guys like myself or other technical folks might be interested in making an app that works with the WES that you could use for either your own purposes, be it like a mobile tournament system that you might find a little bit more effective than using a browser. But they're also working on an app that might just, facilitate the not need for that. That's all on the horizon. And we're really hoping that something like that can lead to a lot of awesome stuff to make the judge's job a lot easier.
Okay. I take it back. My friends are now showing, and my followers are now showing. They just weren't showing like earlier. It was weird. It was 000 across the board, but now it's all there with all my information.
It's early migration portions. These things get a little tricky at times. Now, one of the things that we did get a couple glimpses of some things. And one of the glimpses we got was it looks like the Age of Apocalypse is going to be the chase set for the Uncanny X-Men. Mike, you... Oh, there it is.
Good. Oh, my God. I think my face just came or something. That was weird. For me, the Age of Apocalypse was my favorite X-Men story arc in the 90s when I was really kind of just first delving into comics. I mean, I started reading comics when I was about 8 years old, but never that intensely. And so I got right into it. And seeing Sabretooth and Wildchild displayed in the exact way that I had pictured it in my head, like same pose and everything. It's nerdgasm. Absolutely amazing. And it looks like he's valued at 130 points, and that Wild Child has very impressive stats for something that is not the main figure. If it is going to be 130 points, because you can see that the one is cut off significantly, so it could be a 230 point figure, but I doubt it considering it's Sabretooth and Wild Child. I know someone complained about the sculpt of Sabretooth himself being upright and everything else. It's like if you had read the Age of Apocalypse series, you'd know that Wild Child actually takes a lot of his feral stuff into himself, and he embodies that side of Sabretooth. And Sabretooth is actually very much noble and upright and is a good guy in the series, yet still semi-feral as well. So that's awesome. I'm really excited for that. And there were other sculpts that were previewed as well that look incredible. Like they've really upped their sculpt game in some cases, like the Namor sculpt from and the Thor, the Lady Thor sculpt from Nick Fury. Those are both very impressive. And now we have previewed the Iceman sculpt as well. We should get these up though. But what did you think of the Age of Apocalypse announcement? The semi announcement.
The Age of Apocalypse myself, I read some of the Weapon X book. It was okay. It didn't really kind of last with me, to be honest. It was a quick blip in my life. But I know Amber squealed a little when she saw Sabretooth because she's a fan of Exiles and the slow roll of the Exiles kind of showing up. Because that particular Sabretooth was like the leader of the Exiles for a period of time.
Oh yeah.
So she's now got that figure, the Blink, the Sasquatch from that era. I'll be happy. I know she'll lose her mind if Nocturne shows up, and I'll be quite happy to see the Horseman of Apocalypse, Thunderbird, show up as Exiles at some point. I'm not begging for them, but
I know there's a super rare beast, but I was really hoping for a Chase Age of Apocalypse beast. It's beast with metal legs, and he's like gray beast. It's really kind of cool, kind of creepy, subterfuge, stealthy character in comparison to the normal, noble Hank McCoy. So
now, was that beast numbered with an A by any chance?
I didn't notice, to be honest with you. I know someone sent it to me. Let me just try and find it.
Yeah, I know myself and Amber. Amber put up a bunch of them as on our photo album at our Married with Clicks, Facebook.com/Married with Clicks. If you check out our photos, we do have some of the GAMA photos, I believe, in there somewhere. Amber, did we do it? No, I guess not.
The beast, I can't see his actual number, unfortunately, in this photograph here. Here, I'll share this anyway.
Yeah, go for it.
Just give me 1 second. Okay, here we go. That's pretty cool. Yeah, here's a whole pile of different figures actually on top here, and then you can see Alloy below, along with Streaky. But you've got the Juggernaut and Super Rare Beast here, along with Scrambler. Here, let me zoom this in for you guys. There you go.
I was trying to zoom in with my face.
I saw that, and that's why I zoomed it in. It's like, is it really that bad? Yeah, here's the beast. You can see that, here's the arch of his back with his leg pointed out the back, a little knee up here, and then you've got the overarch of the fist. So he's obviously balancing on his front arm there. It looks like he's a switch click. I can see the 100 on one side. There's the little slash, but we can't really see what the other value is.
Right. Multi-point base. A switch click would come off of there.
Sorry, yes, multi-point base. Yes, absolutely, you're correct. Storm, kind of classic Storm over here. We've got another beast over here. This is the I guess the new X-Men that's come out. That's the original X-Men with I think the Iceman that's come out as gay or whatever. That's the latest little piece of information there. We've got Scrambler, we've got Malice, and we've got a Juggernaut. It's nice to see kind of a more classic looking Juggernaut. It does remind me a lot of the Deadpool Juggernaut in terms of the sculpt, but I know that this helmet comes off.
Yeah. And
he has powers associated with that as well, and that obviously have to do with whether he's going to be easier to hurt or not. Yeah. And I don't know who that is in the background there. Let me just see if I can zoom that in.
You mean the guy with the gun on the right? It's a Genosian Magistrate.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I'm really excited for this set. I love X-Men, and I've been waiting because there has not been an X-Men set since I started playing. I mean, AVX was just finishing when I first started playing, so yeah, I take that back slightly, but it was a really small set compared to Wolverine and the X-Men.
Oh, so that means you were there for you missed that blink of an eye that Wolverine and the X-Men was on the shelf.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's Wolverine and where'd it go?
And Emma Frost. Black costume and Emma Frost. Cool.
Yeah, and that's labeled with an A, so there's chances are there's going to be a prime with the white costume. I think that's supposed to be after AVX, the Uncanny X-Men series, where Cyclops and some other X-Men went rogue.
Here's a better shot of Beast, actually. Oh, and Omega Red in the background.
Is that a letter? Is that a letter? Oh, is that no? It's a 059.
Oh, 050.
Yeah. There's a missed opportunity to get a Dark Beast back in the game as a prime as well.
Yeah, it would be really, really cool. But yeah, there's Omega Red in the background too, which is really cool.
Yep. Chances are that's going to be one of the first characters that has a giant reach that's either at or higher than 3.
Be great if he had giant reach of like 5.
That would be amazing. Those tentacles just reach out, grab you, use some steel energy, and be awesome. But overall, it seems like a lot of good news is coming out of GAMA, and that's good news is good news, right?
Absolutely.
So without further ado, let's talk competitive play. Recently, there was a Rock Super Qualifier in Las Vegas, and this one had something of a weird outcome.
Was it strange? Could it have been any weirder? The weird, in fact.
It might involve something so weird. It's not just a weird. It's the weird.
The weird. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. So without further ado, the weird was part of the first place team. I'm going to pull up the event, and we're going to talk the top 4 now. So. Share. All right. So in 4th place we have Alex Peretta. With now this is of the 300-point limited format. Before anybody gets confused, he had a spy theme team with Phantom X, Nick Fury, Atomica, and Blind Owl with Danny the Street and Ryut as his maps.
We know how that works.
Yeah, we got a rough idea of how that works. It's a team that's familiar. It's a safe team, and I mean, good on them for playing it. There's nothing wrong with it.
Nothing wrong with it at all. Let's just throw up some meta. Let's do that. Yeah. No, it's good. Good team.
Yeah. Next up, John Allison played Highfather with Nick Fury, General Lane, and a weapon drop. Now, we now have Highfather being the highest point figure on the team, stopping your opponent's highest point figure. Nick Fury is able to whittle down the rest of the team, and then just take that character who's definitely going to be the highest point character on the team when he's done with the rest of the team, and blow him out of the water. And that seems to be how that's going to work. Or
interesting, he chose the wrestling ring. The wrestling ring is basically just open space.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the ring in the center is not anything. It's open.
Yeah, and against a lot of teams, that Nick Fury is okay to be in the wide open. You throw him on an object, the highest point character is not the threat to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, General Lane adds to his damage and adds outwit on top of the can't use power. And weapon drop just adds powers, man.
Yeah, weapon drop is awesome. I love the weapon drop.
All right. Then we get in the 2nd place. Now, here's something I've seen more than once, and that's 2 Clarion the Witch Boys. But this Tony Dodge played 2 Clarion the Witch Boys, a Nighthawk Prime, and a Gates at 60 points, and the Kingdom Come Green Lantern at 30 points.
Interesting.
Now, my understanding of the team, of course, is Clarion is just good. He's got Prob and Mystics. Gates being a wild card from Legion of Superheroes, gets Mystics as well. Nighthawk stops you from being able to up your attacks. Clarion the Witch Boy leads out with 2 Teakles who have Perplex to up your own attacks, or if there's a Nighthawk Prime across the table from you, drop defenses. And then you can come out with what could be a big attack, or Teakle's back on Clarion eventually. Clarion's a very safe character with some stealth. Because your high point character is shared here, there's no real Nick Fury threat. on either of those guys.
Mhm.
So overall, I'm seeing Clarion show up in multiples on more than one occasion. I think Easton Brock brought out a team at one tournament with it, and this is a threat to be aware of.
Mhm.
Also, of course, you got a Green Lantern to protect you further with some barrier, and he comes with Perplex, if I remember correctly.
Let me look him up just to make sure. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, I think he's the only guy with Perplex on the from the KCs. Green Lantern. Here we go. Green Lantern. Yep, he has Perplex to target a character regardless of line of fire.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
And a 9-range barrier.
9-range, yeah.
Stick him in the middle. And, if your opponent happens to get a critical hit, they're about to get punished with the Green Lantern on the board. So, good team, Tony. And I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of Clarion the Witch Boy out there in the game. But first place goes to Ryan McLean. His team consisted of the Weird, Harley Quinn, the Chief, Despotellis, and his maps were the Mental Ward, Ranks, and Latveria. So very, very wall-heavy maps that he chose because, of course, the Weird phases wherever he needs to be. Harley Quinn to make the Weird amazing. Despotellis to come with. And I believe the Weird moves for free at the beginning of the turn. So he carries Despotellis with him and gets a whole lot of range out of it. And if I remember correctly, he flies as well. I'm going to have to pull up the Weird to be absolutely
sure. I got him here.
It sounds like you got a 6-movement poison with Despotellis at the beginning of the turn.
Yeah, he is a flyer. Yeah, it's improved movement, ignores blocking terrain, ignores characters on top of being a flyer. And then he's got that 4th-dimensional teleport thing at the beginning of the game. Place the Weird on the map so that his left hand is pointing along the direct line facing away from the nearest map edge. This indicates the direction he's facing. When the Weird is moved or placed, he remains facing along the same direct line. During the beginning of your turn, you may give the Weird a move action as a free action, but with a lock speed value of 4, and only to move in the direct line he is facing. When he does an action's resolve, the Weird may change his face to any direct line. Yeah. So yeah, that's that weirdo right there. Okay. On top of that, the Chief is interacting with him in an interesting way. I do believe that they share a keyword. Let me just double check.
Chief has dual patrol, scientist, and I think
that's it. That's all they have. No, so they don't share one.
No. But so what you're getting out of this with the Weird is you got that locked movement of 4 at the beginning of the turn, right? Mm-hmm. So that means he can carry Harley and Despotellis 4 squares, right? He puts Harley Quinn in front of him. Harley Quinn with no action tokens has sidestep, so she sidesteps carrying Despotellis. You've now moved 6, poisoned with Despotellis, and now your opponent has a cold.
It's true. But on top of that, you've got Harley Quinn with the scientist keyword as well, so she interacts well with the Chief. He can draw a line of fire. As long as she's within 6 squares of him, he can draw a line of fire through her to do Perplex or Outwit. So overall, interesting, whole bunch of shenanigans.
Yeah. There's a lot of cool tricks from this team, and the barrier just adds to the Weird's protection level because you're not going to be getting shot back at with him. And then, for what the Weird is, though his stats are not absolutely maniacally fantastic, he can still bring it. A lot of, and Harley Quinn helps to make up for that. I think the Chief goes a long way for that as well. And of course, you're hitting much more softened characters with the Despotellis poisoning all over the place. So,
well, on top of that, I like the interaction between Harley Quinn and Harley Quinn and that's the other team. Never mind, I take it back. I was thinking about Harley Quinn as a calculator and Green Lantern, but that's the other team. Yeah, being a calculator.
Oh yeah, because I think part of the problem with the Green Lantern team abilities is it doesn't give carry. You actually have to carry in the first place or be able to carry. So. And there's not enough tiny characters to say, hey, she can carry a whole bunch of tinies.
I was thinking more along the lines of the JSA or the Mystics from Clarion, but that is the other team, so that was my mistake. Yeah.
The Weird doesn't have calculator or anything like that, or isn't a wild card.
I've got nothing. Nope.
Okay. But yeah, overall, congratulations to Ryan. That's a very, very weird, if not clever, team. Can't the puns just write themselves on that one, so I have no choice but to use them. As a father, you're required. You're given a card at the hospital the second you become a father.
Right. Yeah. Cornball. Right. It's underlines your name on your driver's license from there on out.
There's also a stamp card you're required to fill with puns. Usually by about the second week of the month, I'm good to go. But oh, all right. So let's talk teams.
Yep.
We've been talking atomically lately with the new Hulk OP kit with the She-Hulk, the Red Hulk, and the A-Bomb. This week,
that radiation.
Yep. This week we're talking A-Bomb,
Mm-hmm.
and you brought the conversation with the A-Bomb.
I did.
So I'll let you take the lead on this one, there, Mike.
So I call this team abominable. Here, let me just link my team here.
That joke was a bomb.
It was really bad. I hope I don't have any porn tabs up. I mean, no, there's no porn. Okay. Here we go. So, A-Bomb, good starting point. He looks a little overcosted at first sight, but with his special movement power, I really like it. A-Bomb can use charge, and if he's not holding an object, he can use flurry when A-Bomb makes an attack and actions resolve. If an opposing character has 3 or more damage taken total during that action, give that character an action token. So what's missing from this here is he doesn't have exploit weakness, so a lot of the time he's not going to be delivering 3 or more. So what did I do? I gave him the left arm, which gives him exploit weakness. So he can do two hits in a row of 4 damage. I mean, 11 attack is pretty great on its own, so that's fine. I'm not worried about him using super strength in this particular case, so I'd rather have him spend his time equipping the left arm and then going to town. He also has shape change and stealth, so he's highly defensible on top of having the invincible right off the bat. This is, just for the record, a monster team, a monster theme team. Between him and the Abominable Snowman. Oh my God, the Abominable Snowman! Look at that, he's awesome. I really like this figure, actually. I've used him a fair amount. He's stealthed and a giant. So good. He would be actually holding the one ultra heavy object that I would include on this team, because as you can see from my team build here, we have pin particles and the left arm from the Hulkbuster, so that's 2 of my 3 objects. So yeah, equip him with that. Also, he has Snowfall, which, if you don't know, is wildcard. So he's actually wildcarding the Intelligentsia ATA that I put on A-Bomb. If you are wondering what this is, you are not alone, because I had never even heard of this before today. If no friendly character is affected by an opponent's outwit or perplex, they're both stealthed, these 2 characters, so there's a good chance. Friendly characters that can use outwit and or perplex, and all characters using this team ability modify their range values by +2. So they're both getting +2 range in case I really want to be able to use that for something. It's kind of neat, just like a little bit of an add-on. I've also got the pin particles, which I'd probably use as tiny in this particular case, just making A-Bomb harder to hit from, or whomever, basically, harder to hit from further away. In this particular case, it would probably be the Abominable Snowman. Anywho, pretty good team overall. Battle Fury's nice on Abominable Snowman. They both do some tokeny action, so we've already talked about A-Bombs. I'm going to continue to stutter on these words because I'm saying abominable way too many times.
Abominable. Abomination bomb.
It's an abomination. So, yeah, I discussed the A-Bombs already. We've discussed Abominable Snowmans previously on the show, but I'll go over it one more time for everyone's convenience. At the end of the turn, at the end of my turn, place an action token on all opposing characters adjacent to Abominable Snowman with an equal or lower point value. He's 150 points. That's pretty much everybody. So there is that. So not only is A-Bomb going to be able to put tokens on people, he's going to put tokens on people, disabling them, and enabling me to get a hell of a lot of damage in before my opponent has a chance to really retaliate, as long as I'm getting there relatively quickly. Also, because he starts off as a giant and A-Bomb is a regular sized character, the Abominable Snowman can carry if need be. But yeah, overall, pretty simple, but synergizes fairly well. I like that later in the Abominable Snowman's dial, you also get this special attack power as well, which is Abominable Snowman can use Incapacitate with a range of 6. When he does, he deals his printed damage value to hit characters in addition to normal effects. That's awesome. I think that's a really cool power right in there. And his real name is Yeti. So good, so much fun. I am going to play this team as soon as I can. Probably this Wednesday because it actually fits the build. Awesome. Anyway, over to you, buddy.
All right. So I started as a joke and actually found some interesting synergy with this. Now, I mentioned earlier in the show that we made a joke about the brute keyword. I always wanted to build teams with it, and I was totally reminded of a character that recently got added to that keyword with TK, and that is Coldcast. So Coldcast adds a little bit of a bomb element to this team. It is a brute themed team, as I mentioned. 4 characters in it. We have A-Bomb, Coldcast, the Uncommon Hulk from Age of Ultron, and Titano. Now, one of the things worth mentioning about A-Bomb is his trait. He seems, like Mike said, he seems high-costed, but don't forget, he's traded with Shape Change and Stealth. That is a scary combination of powers to have on a character that hits this hard, especially if you do manage to get 2 clicks into his dial and he does have that impervious. If you're not bringing something penetrating, well, he is. And well, not necessarily. He's not actually bringing anything penetrating. He's just bringing a lot of damage. But with that said, the way I look at the charge ability that also adds flurry, I look at who I'm up against. Am I going to be attacking a character with Invincible? Then I'll leave the object behind and try to do 4 damage instead of maybe getting 3 with an Ultra Heavy. If I'm looking at Invulnerable or Invincible or something that's just going to get liquefied with, super senses, I'm going to bring the Ultra Heavy with me and go for the shot. And even if it doesn't take and that 7 damage that I could possibly be dealing doesn't kill the target, well, they have an action token now. Right? So now Coldcast, of course, coming with TK off the top, and then he turns into something weird after the fact that we're going to get into. But he's got Sidestep and TK to start and Toughness. He's got no Indomitable. He's got 3 damage and 6 range. But with Coldcast, the goal is to push off the TK and get everybody but him out there. Because then eventually he turns into these clicks with this special power, which is Coldcast can use Pulse Wave. When he does, after actions resolve, counter defense powers of each hit opposing character until your next turn. So if Coldcast can line it up, and with a 6 range, that turns into 3, it should be easy to safely Pulse Wave without your own characters getting hit. He counters the defense powers, so you follow up now with A-Bomb or the other Hulk and Smoosh. really squishy. Because a lot of the characters on this team hit really hard. Also, you have some barrier if you need a little bit more time to get up there, or it's an indoor map like Pim's Lab that you've decided was a better choice. And in some cases it could be. Feel free to push them to get to that barrier, save yourself a turn of shooting, or force your opponent to do a little bit more work to get to you. The third choice on this is the Hulk. Now, the Uncommon Hulk, what you see is what you get for powers. He's 80 points, and then he gets a lot of beef for 80 points. But he does come with the downside. He also has a trait where if the first close combat attack made on an opponent's turn doesn't target the Hulk, modify the attacker's attack and damage value by -1, which protects A-Bomb and puts a big target on an 80-point figure's head instead of a 135-point figure's head. Right? Also, if my opponent attempts to, attack anyway, I'm not going to go further into that because everything that was about to come out of my mouth was nonsense. But now here's the downside to the Hulk. At the beginning of your turn, roll a d6 that can't be rerolled. On a 1 or 2, until your next turn, modify Hulk's combat values by -2. Ouch. He can use Outwit, Perplex, and Shape Change, and can't use any other power he possesses. This ability can't be ignored. So he does still have the original Incredible Hulk trait, which means he has to be the first target. He loses all his powers, but he gains Outwit and Perplex, which are still usable powers. As well, at -2 to his stats, he still does have, on the top click, a 9 attack with 2 damage. Banner can still swing. And I've done it before. All right? Don't overlook the banner. Now, unfortunately, my team that I came up with doesn't work in the limited format because I decided on a 20-point Titano to fill it up. Now, you got 20 points. You can fill it up with some extra objects, or if you can find some bystanders that you think could be appropriate, you can fit this in limited. But I wanted to use Titano because he's a brute.
And you like Titano.
and this monkey brings it as well because of the Colossal Retaliation. Now, your entire team is a team of targets, but Titano adds a cost to you targeting my team, and that is 2 attacks that deal 3 damage, and he just jumps across the board at you. So basically, the monkey, yes, I'm referring to him as a monkey, even though he's a part of the greater ape family, jumps across the board when you've attacked one of my guys on the next turn and smashes you twice as a penalty for even doing it. So, as you can imagine, the idea of this, of course, is I'm going to get attacked probably first because a lot of my guys don't have a great deal of range. So Titano is an insurance policy on it. Yeah, so that's kind of what I came up with. It was very brutish team for a brutish character. But bully, I love a good brute.
Well, that was pretty brutal.
There you go. I'll put a stamp on your card. With that, I do believe we're done for the week. Very short week. Good week to rest for us because we do have that WKO in Ottawa coming up.
Yeah, we got a couple very hectic days because we're doing both the Heroclix and the Dice Masters. Speaking of which, I need you to help me with my team a little bit.
Yeah,
but
I told you send me your team and I'll send you the modifications.
I completely forgot about it. I've had like several 18-hour days, and it's just been one of those times a year for what I do, and that's just the hazard of, I guess, having the amount of freedom I do with what I do. But yeah. Really cool previews and stuff like that. I love the stuff that's coming out of GAMA. I think it makes me very excited for the future of this game. And if anybody's around in Toronto, come down to the Wizards Cache for our 300 Modern Limited tournament this week. Try not to play too meta, but bring something fun that you just want to try out and maybe you think synergizes fairly well. Wednesday at 6:45 p.m. Anyway.
Yeah.
Look it up on the WES or the WIN.
Oh,
hello.
Ooh, he's already on top of that. How about that? So we're going to be moving into fan question territory. If you do have a fan question, we only have 3 right now, so you don't have very much time to get them in. But check us out at facebook.com/marriedwithclicks and throw a question in the comments below either the initial or just on the link to this video. Just throw it in the comments below that until we get this whole YouTube thing figured out. Or if you're on Google+, I believe the comment system will blast at me some kind of notification that I have a comment. But without further ado, what is it? Thomas Kustrin. He has a betting challenge that I'm going to put up here. And he's got 2 teams for us. And he says, take your bets. Now, this is obviously based on the Batman versus Superman movie on the upcoming, but Batman's team consists of a Batmobile piloted, Batman at 150 points, Alfred at 30, I believe. Yeah, the Batman versus Superman versions, both of those, and the Justice League ATA on this team to make up that last little point. And then on the Superman side, we have I guess this is the Target exclusive Superman, Lois Lane, and the Target exclusive Perry White. On the sole fact that these guys are Target exclusive, I kind of want Superman to just lose. Mostly because he's the last Target exclusive I'm missing right now from the set. What do you think?
Oh, is he really?
Yeah,
I don't have any of the Target exclusive ones right yet. I'm waiting for my gravity feed to come. I think they're sort of comparable. The 305 points bugs me. It does. It just irks me.
Gotta be a 35 pointer you can throw it there.
I'm going to bet on Batman for this one.
Bet on Batman, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got the Batmobile. The Batmobile from Batman, the old days, those vehicles had some thick dials to them because they're on 2x4 bases, and they use those dials. So even if Superman is hitting at his hardest on a regular basis, it's going to take a long time to get through that Batmobile. And with the new vehicle rules, add in some Psychic Blast coming from that Batmobile, courtesy of the pilot. You got some nightmares to him. Or even if Alfred's riding the Batmobile, because I think that there's something about having a Batman family member in the Batmobile, just making it bonkers. So Batman flying around, psychic blasting things. Alfred in the Batmobile causing nightmares. All right. So I think we both bet on the Bat.
I would say so. Yeah.
All right. So next up, I'm going to stop screen sharing now. Because that was the only part we needed to screen share for that. Chris Stockhouse, thanks for your advice and kind words about my team and story last week. I think my composite Superman team had played more defensively. It could have done much better. We do our best. My question for this week is, do you find any struggles or challenges when switching from 300 to 400 points competitive mindset or going from 400 back to 300? I'm so used to playing in 300 that thinking competitively for 400 just didn't exist until this year for me. And then I just spammed out builds in our Excel sheet that we keep for a day. And I started to get my head wrapped around the idea. But there's still, because the 400 still only exists just in limited, it's still it's already its own limiting format. So adding 100 points to that just makes for some builds that in my mind was like, I wish I could do that. In a lot of cases, came out to bigger builds. Like I'm not going to get a chance to play in the 400 limiteds, unfortunately. But one build I came up with was like a zombie Super Skrull, a Resurrection Man, and a Dead Man all on the same team. And I was like, all right, kill me. Very difficult task to accomplish, as you can imagine, with two guys that just refuse to die, and one, if he gets going, becomes very hard to kill. That was just one idea that kind of went out of my brain in the midst of all that. I also did things like the 300-point Thanos and Proxima Midnight to see if Mike was awake still. It's like, what the heck was this? I was like, I was just checking to see if you're paying attention.
Some weird stuff, man.
But you wouldn't think of a combination like that in 300 points as well. So there's some combinations out there you can come up with. Don't even get me started on that Silver Age, that Rock Silver Age, or the Rock Age.
Rock Age thing? I can't think that way because it's just before my time. I have to do so much research to even be able to get into it.
Well, the morphing jar interactions that existed with the Black
That was so cool. Or the return of the Gamma Bomb. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's like, and we switch sides, or the build with the Magneto with it. All right, I'm in your area now. Oh, by the way, bombs. So, it's very. The thing is, for myself, because it's year one of thinking competitively about 400 points, that mindset didn't really exist in my noggin. The terabytes of memory that I'm shifting things in and out of now. And we tried a whole bunch of things like in our shared data sheets. Yeah. We did, I just have a couple up in front of me right now. I tried this failed team just because I thought I was onto something that was kind of interesting, and it was and I could have done it with a different drone, but I really liked the idea of doing penetrating poison. I was trying to do an anti-roll team, and that was like the Ultron Future drone inside of the Avengers Sky Cycle, Shatterstar, and Ultron Future drone inside of Avengers Sky Cycle and Shatterstar with 2 Blind Owls and a Rainbow Raider. Oh my God, that's 400 points even. And as long as you hit on the first hit, it actually did really, really well. It did require some active participation, but if people broke away, it was just garbage. It was just absolutely like terrible. So anyway, we did at least try to start thinking in that way. I think it's a neat format, but I think that the Rock Age, I don't know if I'll ever get into that Rock Age mentality. I know that Patrick Yaboko was very, very excited about that because it allows people who've been playing for a very long time to use the full breadth of their knowledge rather than just keep it to the modern. I'm trying to limit my breadth of knowledge. I mean, my Golden Age collection it fits in a box about this big, and every so often I look at it and say, did I play in a Golden Age tournament this year? Did I pull any of these things out? And then any of the things I didn't pull out to get pulled out of that box again. And let's look at Deathstroke's on the chopping block this year, it looks like. So.
Oh, no. Hey, give it to me. I need that Prime. I don't have it.
Sorry, this is the new 52 Deathstroke.
Okay, well, see, I'm way off.
Give
me all your Primes. I collect them all. I put them on the shelf. It's right back there.
This nonsense team made me I just looked at this and said, I came up with something like this, and it was Mr. Mix's Pit Lake, Nighthawk Prime, Rainbow Raider, Sloth, and Con Pandora. I was like, no,
cool. That was one of your better ones. I like.
You're not allowed to play it.
Oh,
the mindset I started trying to add to my game plan is, just stopping my opponent from playing is like, you're not allowed. No, I'm not letting this happen. The heck with you.
Dead Man, Loki, Resurrection Man, Lois Lane, Atomica, Blind Owl, and Pim Particles. $3.99.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of really fun stuff. And then I tried to get into the whole Dr. Demonicus thing because I really wanted to play her. And I actually got to try this out. This was really, really fun. It was Dr. Demonicus with Captain Marvel, Mr. Mxyzptlk, Miss Marvel, 3D Man, Pim Particles, and the Hulkbuster torso. And it was all about the stat boosting from Mr. Mxyzptlk making somebody colossal, and then there was the colossal brought in by Dr. Demonicus, Captain Marvel's bonus, and Miss Marvel being able to become a colossal. It was really kind of fun ideas overall, and 3D Man just for avoiding, I think, shape change at the time.
Yeah. So there's
anyway.
we come up with ideas in the format. We haven't had a chance to get into the full-blown mindset just yet because, okay, let's be brutally honest. The Canadian dollar this year has been terrible for allowing us to run rock events. Honestly, in Ontario, I think right now we're sitting on the 3 for sure. One of which is the Rock Provincials, one of which is a Rock Winnimap leading into that both of those are a Comic Warehouse. And then we have the Rock Nationals, the Rock Canada Cup at 401 Games. We had those signed up very early in the year set up. But as far as what'll end up happening is the store I run the events at the Comic Warehouse, they say, here's a budget, get us some events. And I try to stretch that budget to the best that I can. I also facilitate some extra prizing from things like Con LEs that I get at bigger events and whatnot.
There's also going to be a lead-in Winnimap for the Canada Cup at the Comic Book Shop 2 in Ottawa, and there will be one obviously at the Wizards Cache. So those are 2 other ones that will happen, but nothing's happened thus far is the point. And I know that the Canada Cup, the purchase of that kit was $1,000 versus $650, American. That's ridiculous. It's just insane, the difference right now.
I got good news for our fans watching on YouTube. This comment section is working again.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
I don't know why I was wrong with that for the longest time, but it's back. So
I blame you.
I blame me too. Maybe it's the fact that we just recently crossed 1,500 subscribers.
That could be it, actually. Yeah. That definitely could be it. You could be a red partner now. Who knows?
But that also means that me and Amber have to start working on a cat and mouse game, or cat and mouser, if it were.
Oh, I see what you did there.
This was actually a fan idea during the patron hangout. It's if you hit a certain number, how about we do black cats versus mousers? And I was like, oh, okay. So now I got to go back to hunting black cats. So, guys, if you're going to be at the WKO in Ottawa, throw black cats at me when you're done if you don't want them. And when it comes to mousers, give me a holler on the Facebook messages because we need mousers coming out the butt. I'm not sure how many points we're running, but it's definitely going to be cats and mousers. And that's going to be an exciting game. I'm, of course, vamping to give everybody a chance to throw in some extra questions either on Facebook or now in the comments below. So, just extending that time for you guys. But the next question comes from Charles L. Franklin. Now that we got all the new Batman, what figures would be best for a Batman family team? Well, we got 2 new Batmans from this one, right? Mm-hmm. The armored and the gray suit one. You know what? We got a little bit of. Let's not take too long on it, but let's give it a little bit of extra gumption. We have Batman. Armored Batman and not so armored. Okay, so not so armored Batman, personal restraint systems. Batman can use charge when he hits an opposing character. Give the hit character action token. Not bad. 11 attack, close combat expert, combat reflexes, indomitable. But he comes in at 85 points. Not the worst use of 85 points. But
the alter ego one, right?
What's that?
The alter ego one, isn't it?
Yeah, you'll also get the alter ego that comes from Bruce Wayne if you want to play on the lower dial, where you've got some leap and climb, precision strike. And I think that Bruce Wayne is also able to use powers from it now, this new alter ego dynamic where it's take the character from the sideline, use some of the powers here. When you add Bruce Wayne to your forest during construction, you may also add Batman vs. Superman 001 to your sideline. turns to its orange starting line. At the beginning of your turn, you may choose a standard power that Batman can use on that starting click. Bruce Wayne can use the chosen power until you do. So, and then you get the Bruce Wayne at 40 points. Not the greatest figure either. So you got both options with it. But that 85-point Batman could be really good as an ID call-in. Because World's Finest, the Batmans they meld together. They're so good together, and they shift in and out of the board.
Well, the shifting focus Batman is probably the best Batman there is right now, period. If you consider, because all of them are the same guy. It's just it's like having possessors and other things for the same cost because you're just switching to whatever's perfect for the scenario. I mean that's an incredible mechanic. I know I'm basically embodying Tom right now, being total fanboy of this, but I think that might be the best Batman that's out there right now, is the shifting focus Batman.
Yeah. It's a lot of options. We've already seen the Superman do really well with it in some rock tournaments.
It's so good.
So now I do look at this 85-point Batman as he's only 85 points, which makes him very easy to call in with an ID card. Hit somebody, give them an action token, and if you do it with a close combat expert and they're close enough, that's a pretty good payoff for a 5-point one-off, right? 11 attack, 3 damage with close combat expert. Now, of course, we can't discount 150 points of armored bat beat down. That comes with the Batman ally and Superman ally team abilities, traded with the ability to take Superman allies or Kryptonian keyworded characters and penetrate them with all of his damage, even if his wonderful Psychic Blast is outwitted. Starts with some impervious, has some outwit to start as well. A running shot that adds +3 to his movement. Now, if you think about it, adds +3 to his range. So it becomes a running shot with 11 movement and 8 range with Psychic Blast. That's a Batman that brings it. This is the Batman that starts the game on the board. Or gets Quinjetted in and permanently sticks around for a while.
Yeah, no, I've been trying to build with the Quinjet with the DC ID cards as well, because it's just such a cool thing to be able to use DC characters with that mechanic. I mean, obviously they're not going to make a DC equivalent. That would be a little bit too themey and non-meta. It really doesn't matter all that much. That idea of using perhaps this Batman at the 150 point as a permanent fixture that comes in depending on what click you are on with the actual with the Quinjet itself is a great idea.
Yeah.
And that it is a very good Batman. Although it is pure brawly goodness.
Yeah, it's pure.
It's the meat. It is the meat of Batman.
It's the meat that's going to throw a raw potato at you too. And Precision Strike and Flurry is a hell of a combination. I just want to point that out, late dial too. But by then, your Batman's already in trouble.
Yeah, but I mean, he's up close and personal at that point anyway, and he's got combat reflexes, so he's doing okay.
Yeah, because that mid down
with the Perplex as well. I mean, you could use that defensively as well, and it's very, very good. Just take down the attack of somebody else if you need to, or just increase your own defense. And yeah, I mean, I don't think I'll be using him on a meta team necessarily, though.
No. He's not really a first choice kind of figure. There's a lot of things I can think off the top of my head that just blow him out of the water at less. Yeah, it might rhyme with Schmick Schmiery.
I'm playing with this guy right now.
Yeah, I talked to a mutual friend of ours in Kenny Pena, and I'm going to try an idea of his from the past. And see if we can make it work with some new additions to the game. And if it does end up...
I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah, you know the one I'm talking about? Yeah. If it works, oh, man, is it going to work. Oh, man. I just can't wait to see the looks on faces. He's like, you did what?
Now that you said it, though, I'm going to counter-build it, right?
You go for it. A lot of things in there, I'm sure you remember, can't be countered.
It's true, actually.
But all that said and done, It looks like we don't have a whole lot more extra comments. We're going to give you guys 10 more seconds to add in those comments. Get those comments down below, right in the doobly-doo, I think it's called in some channels. Or on Facebook. I watch the Idea channel. Doobly-doo.
Congrats to Chris Motherman on his, I think it was top 4 finish at one of the recent rocks as well.
You know what? Let's take a couple seconds and find out. Chris Motherman, recent rocks. What?
Obi-Wan Chris.
Just derailed. Oh wait, we got another one here. Big Bang. Oh, there was a regional?
Yeah. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Maybe. This just in. He got top 8.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, that's awesome.
And it looks like if this is in order, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we're doing the 5th, 6th, 7th. You got 7th place. All right, you know what? Let's talk about this one too, because we talked about another one. We'll talk about it in brief though. So yeah, shout out to Chris Smotherman in 7th place. I'm gonna screen share it. Meow. Boom. And this is our one of our avid fans. He played with the new Doc Ock, the OP kit Doc Ock, Clarion the Witch Boy, Goliath at 50, Mercy at 50, Shazam at 30, Blind Owl at 13, and a Helmet of Fate. That is awesome.
It's a wicked team.
That's amazing. Yeah. That Goliath adds a little bit of beef to the defense on that Doc Ock after he makes that big attack. Totally worth it. And then you got Shazam to take a double power action, take an action token off, and make him do it again. Or make somebody do it again. Clarion the Witch Boy adds Teakle, who's just... Clarion's just so good. I can't say it enough. Mercy at 50, who's your taxi, because I said that 50-point Mercy is going to be a good taxi. Mm-hmm. Shazam at 30, and, if you critical hit, well, Shazam! You've got a problem now.
Oh, yeah, big time. Yeah, a running shot pulse wave with prob. Problem. That's a very nasty problem.
So congrats on that. This is a regional, so it's just one of the bigger events that the Rock holds. Mm-hmm. Only a couple of these. You have to kind of sign up for these at the beginning of the year. So
it's a big deal.
There's been a hiatus on them up here in the Great White North because, the costing issues, and there's been some performance issues with them over on the West Coast. So we're hoping to get something going here again eventually. But let's talk top 4. PJ Bolin. Playing with a Spectre, a Nick Fury, and the Avenger Sky Cycle. That's just good.
There you go.
I don't think there's anything on that I can say is just not good. That's just everything there is great. And in 3rd, Easton Brock. That's a name I've said a number of times when describing these things. He brought a Superman. This number 33. That's the Eye Blast.
Shifting focus. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is Shifting Focus Superman, of course, and he's already making a ton of noise in the limited format. He didn't want to stop. He just kind of went in there. We got an Engineer at 90 points, Hank Pym at 50, KC Spectre at 30 for some long-range probability controls.
Awesome.
And Bizarro at 25, along with a weapon drop and Pym Particles. This is a good collection of just good. Engineer is a great figure, especially on a smart player like Easton Brock. He's really going to maximize the choice potential and powers. Superman, Shifting Focus. I'm sure the sideline is all the Shifting Focus Superman. And the Ant-Man box set, more figures. There we go. And Bizarro is, of course, just an extra character who's either going to attract an attack, carry somebody, and just generally be awesome. 2nd place. Hey, there's this whole thing is happening again. We got Mary Marvel at 150. Clarion the Witch Boy at 7. 2 Clarion. 2
Clarions. Yeah.
2 Clarions and Justice League Silver Age
ATA
on ATA, and I guess that's on Mary Marvel because. Yeah, and then this is Jason Allen. So congrats on 2nd place with that. That's Mary Marvel hits hard. But Clarion makes sure she hits, and if she doesn't, she makes sure she hits.
Oh,
it's
and 3 probs.
The other Clarion makes sure she hits.
3 probs with Teakles. It's great.
Yeah. And he came 2nd to Michael Smith, playing 2 of the Shifting Focus Supermans, the Trinity War Batman at 85. Welcome back. Atomica at 25, Pym Particles, and a Justice League ATA. 4 points. I guess that's on a whole 4 of them. That's so of course Superman are there to shift focus because the shifting focus Supermans play defensively really well, play offensively really well. They just play well. Trinity War Batman gives you that ability to choose powers. Tomica adds prob to the mix, even though Batman also has probs. Pim Particles makes somebody either a giant or tiny, depending on what you need for the situation. I just love the imagery of a giant Batman hiding in a bush. Sorry, I didn't get your thoughts, but a lot of it. What do you think of Easton?
I commented on the way. I think it's awesome.
Yeah,
the Easton. I'm always impressed with Easton's teams, almost always, and except when he sucks. But then then I'm not impressed. Just saying that if he is actually listening, I still owe him some maple syrup. Actually, he reminds me every chance he gets.
Maybe.
The second place team is fun, and it's just like, okay, this guy's so meta, we have to use 2 of them. And Mary Marvel's awesome. I love Mary Marvel, but it's cool that it's all World's Finest pretty much, except for the obviously the ATA. But it's pure World's Finest. It really goes to show you how good this set is. And then having 2 of the shifting focus Superman up above. I mean, it's just so good. Like, those Supermen are just that good. I think the Batman's that good too, and he's 30 points cheaper. It's just we haven't really seen it yet.
He's a little more difficult to use and pinpoint in constructed. Mm-hmm. He blows a lot of things out of the water if you can get 1 or 2 of them in sealed. Mm-hmm. But I think
I know I've used it.
Yeah, the choice of this Trinity War Batman was a really solid choice.
Jason, you're dying or something.
I'm trying not to. It sounds worse than it really is, to be brutally honest. But with all of that, let's just give it one last check to see if we got any comments down below. Otherwise, I'm trying not to. It sounds worse than it really is. Oh, I did that thing I do, or I forgot to pause the video or mute the YouTube. I started hearing myself again.
It's all right.
All right. So no more fan questions. We appreciate the ones that we got. Nice short week. Although we probably think it's short because it's just the 2 of us. But
it's 10 after 11. It's fine. This is actually how we should end every single time. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, eh?
Yeah.
And we had a lot of content, so I mean, I guess the 2 voices really made it go fast. But as always, we're brought to you in part by hcrealms.com. Check it out for all the awesome stuff that we did on this episode. A lot of it came from HC Realms. So check it out. And of course, while you're there, after you're done building your teams, talking to some people about some of the cool stuff that went down at GAMA, or sharing your ideas for builds, check out the shop. On your way out of the shop, in the checkout section, put in the coupon code MARRIED for 10% off of your purchase and go forward, pay it forward, and support the channel. As well, we're brought to you in part by MajesticCCG.com, where we got all of our information on those rocks. That's where you're going to see it. You can get those rock updates, the super qualifier and the regionals. Basically, they're first to get those events. So check them out. Those come out for free. And, check out the Apex Insiders premium site, $3 a month. Gets you articles from some of the top of the game. Easton Brock, who got 3rd in that regional, is one of the contributors. Myself, I'm also a contributor and hoping to have something ready by tomorrow night, which should be out by the end of the week. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, as long as nothing goes wrong with that. And of course, now that I've said that, everything will go wrong. Also, if you want to support us directly, check it out at patreon.com/marriedwithclicks. We've added a new lower end. If you do want to join us, as low as a penny, you get to hear me and Amber ramble on at the end of the week about our games. We're going to be starting that come next month once we have either some patrons at that level, or just for the patrons that do exist. That will be a patron-only show, but it's also going to be unedited and off the cuff. It's just going to be me and Amber sitting in front of my camera phone, unedited, raw footage of just yapping. It might even get updated directly from the phone, or I'm not sure. I haven't figured it all out yet. But in any case, but also it's where you get a chance to build a team for myself or Amber, or just get one of these really cool action tokens made by Big Bully Games. I actually have a whole bunch of the extra February ones.
Oh, nice.
So these are the February ones with the new icon now. So bye, Mike. Mike's happy to see that. And of course, what it'll show is that you're a patron and what month you were a patron.
I want one.
That's at the $10 or higher mark. you get those. If you have given for January and February, your tokens are in the mail. I promise you. I put them in myself on the weekend. So hopefully they all find you very shortly. But without further ado, thank you guys for watching. If you're watching live, thank you guys for watching. If you're watching in the archives, and when you're getting ready for the big tournament, like myself or Mike for this weekend in Ottawa for the WKO Heroclix regionals, be it sealed, be it constructed, just remember that practice
makes
your
team
better. Have a good night, everybody.